Okay, so what is your name? What's your age, and where are you from?
My name is Kareem online, but my actual real name is Erin or Ariana. I am currently 26 years old and I live in Canada, more specifically on the East Coast.
Okay, and do you like living in Canada?
It has its benefits. I enjoy it very much. Thankfully, I live a very uh, comfortable lifestyle, I would say. I have no complaints there. However, there are things that I wish I could change about it. But in the end, I'm quite happy with where I am personally right now.
And if you could live anywhere in the world, would you still live in Canada or maybe choose another place?
Ooh, I think I would probably choose in between Sweden and Japan, just for I've always been a big fan of being able to get from one part of the city to the other without the need of a car.
Hmm.
And so I enjoy biking infrastructure or public transit being well connected. And so for me, those places seem the most valuable to me. And plus, like, Japan for anime, let's be honest.
Right. I've actually been to Japan. It was magical.
Oh, I'm sure it was. It's a long time goal of mine. I'd love to go visit with a group of friends or even just by myself and just venture through like pod hotels and whatnot.
All right, just to get with some introductory questions first. How big is your audience? Like, how many followers do you have, and how many viewers do you usually have on stream?
Right now, I'm currently at, I believe I checked earlier, I'm at 1,131 followers right now, currently on Twitch.
Mhm.
And I have 124 subscribers on my newly started YouTube channel.
Okay.
And my average viewers, I would say it ranges because I've gone through a period as of late where I've had to take time off. So my numbers coming back right now are not my main numbers, but right now I average between about 10 to 15 viewers.
Okay, pretty good. That's my goal as well. I mean, that's how many viewers I would like to have. Like 10. That would make me really happy.
Anything past that, and it gets hard to read chat,
Mm,
especially when you have people typing paragraphs.
right. What made you want to pick up streaming?
Well, I personally was sort of in a weird state where my partner, my long term partner, he had left the country and was leaving his PC here. And so, where I live personally right now, I don't really have any access to many of my real life friends. And so, I was going to be in a period of relative isolation. And so, I was just like, you know what? I have access to this good computer. I've streamed in the past. It had been like a good 6, 7 years since I last had a stream on. And so I decided, you know what? I'll take this opportunity to start streaming, and maybe out of this whole situation, I'll be able to gain a friend or two.
Hmm.
And so that's what primarily motivated me friendship. I just wanted to meet like minded people where we could throw on a video game and be able to just sit there and chat for hours on end.
Hmm. And how large of an audience would you want? How many viewers concurrently?
Honestly, anything above what I have right now would be, you know, I would be so happy and thrilled and excited. But as for chatting purposes, a main part of my channel is the fact that I'm so interactive with chat. And if we start getting into numbers of 20, 30, 40, then for me, I have a hard time keeping up with chat. So I guess, um, I have no limits on what I would like to achieve. It's just I hope no matter what I achieve, I'll be able to keep that same bond with whoever decides to stick around.
Of course. And do you want streaming to be your career?
That would be nice. However, like, I'm not tied down to just streaming per se. I would be interested in content creation as a whole, such as making YouTube videos or maybe some other form of content that ends up coming out. I like to keep my options open, but streaming for me right now It's wonderful because I don't even need to think about what I'm gonna say. All you gotta do is I gotta load up my program and my softwares and load up my video game and just chat with people.
Hmm. Do you consider streaming a job, a hobby, a passion, or a project?
Honestly, for me, I feel like it fits into all four of those categories. I'm passionate about what I stream and what I do. I do consider it some form of a job in the sake that people have been kind enough to provide me with donations and subscriptions and everything, and so I want to have the job aspect of being able to provide them content that I feel like is worth their contribution.
Mm-hmm.
And then a hobby, yes, I play video games anyway, so I might as well load up my stream and play them. And I'm not sure what the other one was, but in the end, they all sort of blend together for me. I consider it all of them.
Mm. Which is more important for you from your viewers, lurking, chatting, subbing, or donating?
For me, I do enjoy the chatting aspect of streaming. That's what brings me the most joy because, again, I started for friendship.
Mm-hmm.
And it's always been really important for me to have a good relationship with my audience. However, at the same time, I appreciate the lurkers just as much. I think the best of both worlds is being able to come in the stream and saying, "Hey, I'm here. I'm lurking. I have you on in the background. I got you. Don't worry." And then go to lurking. But honestly, silent lurkers are the same as chatting lurkers, are the same as viewers. I appreciate everyone who's willing to give me a moment of their time and keep me up in the background, and so I can keep them company.
Mm. And do you consider yourself an introvert?
Yes, I definitely do consider myself an introvert. I do have extroverted tendencies. Over the past year, I've gotten much better having been streaming of interacting with others and going out of my comfort zones when it comes to both my personal life as well as what I do online. But I still very much am what I would consider an introvert. I don't like leaving my house all that often, but at the same time, I have the extrovert tendencies of, well, I do want to go out, and then I'll go out and I'll be like, I regret going out.
Mm. And if you could have any schedule, what would it be and why?
I enjoy having a nighttime schedule for over here in Canada. Right now, I'm in Eastern Standard Time. So I enjoy anything past 9 p.m. However long it goes on till, I'm not quite sure. It's whatever I'm feeling on that day. I do have a schedule. It's just I don't really stick to it. So for me, the nighttime is the best. However, in my current living situation, I have just moved into an apartment, and so I have neighbors. So I have to be very careful with how loud I am. And for those who do happen to know me, I am very loud. I am very emotional with my voice in terms of like my personality.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a pro and a con. So I do intend on switching to some more at least mid afternoon streams, but I would say the nighttime is best for me.
Mm. You're actually the first VTuber I'm interviewing, and until recently, I haven't had much experience with VTubing. I mean, I didn't even know what it was. So, for our listeners who don't know what it was, could you explain it?
Sure. A VTuber the genre is VTuber, but what we use specifically is a VTuber model, or some other people use what's known as a PNG tuber model. And the differences is the regular 3D VTuber is again 3D, so you can get often it uses a webcam, and so it captures our facial expressions, but we can make the character whatever we want. And as for a PNG tuber, it happens to be 2D and typically is a drawing that's been commissioned or created for that creator.
Mm-hmm.
And that only requires a microphone. So, as I would be talking now, when I'm not talking, the mouth would be completely closed. But when I'm talking, it could have some light animations, and it all really depends on the person. But yes, I use a 3D VTuber as of right now.
Mm. And what do you feel the appeal of VTubing is to the viewers and to the streamers?
I guess it really all depends on the character that the streamer has, because you can have, self creations, such as like ones based on how they look currently. Others can be characters they've created and wish to sort of put their personality into. As for the viewers, it all comes down to like, do they associate well with this character? And I'd say that's the broad appeal of being able to put a character in front of the screen and be able to carry on a personality decent enough to keep on a conversation and to keep viewer retention.
Hmm. Are there any instances of where you feel you should have started streaming sooner? And I mean, how long have you been streaming for?
I created a Twitch account back when it wasn't necessarily called Twitch, because Twitch originally merged with Curse Voice back in 2012, I believe it was. And so I've always had a Twitch account for pretty much as long as the website's been created. I started streaming much earlier under a different alias. However, I quit just due to lack of motivation and ability to stream, because the hardware that I had wasn't the best for streaming video games. And so I took a long break, and that was about 6 or 7 years ago. And I recently started my new channel with my new persona and my new person about 1 year ago, pretty much exactly. So I've been streaming now for about a year and a month, more or less.
That's impressive growth, I would say.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I'm very proud of it.
How long do you think it would take to become a successful streamer?
It really all depends on the person, because you have different sort of categories of personalities when it comes to streaming. You'll have creators who are more less of a personality and more of skill based, such as like Valorant players, CS:GO players. And then you have more personality related streamers that sort of gain their audience through being super funny. For example, there's a creator that goes by the name of Farting Glitter, and she mainly plays Valorant, but she has such a charming personality, and people instantly were attracted to her streams, even though she currently right now sits in the rank of silver and bronze and gold and fluctuates. It's not about the skill in her stream, it's about the personality. And so, as for the time it would take for someone to become successful, it all really depends on how much work they put into it, because anyone can load up a stream and start off making content for others, but it's what they do with that content. I load up my stream every single time and I think, okay, what can I improve on this? Or how can I keep people watching or entertained? And I'm always checking in with my viewers and seeing like, hey, are we still having fun with this game? Or, shall we switch it up or anything of the sort? And yeah, it all really depends. But I'd say if you have hit affiliate status, you can only go up from there. And however long that takes the person, but it starts off, I think, when you hit affiliate, it can only go up from there. So I consider 10,000 big, and you can get that anywhere from a year to a couple years.
And on the road to becoming successful, what types of obstacles do you think are going to be hardest to overcome?
Definitely not bonding with every person that comes in the chat. I am one of those people where I want to befriend everyone. And that has led me into situations where I have come to find out these people who I thought were genuine, amazing people may not have been the most kind in the situation. And you know what? Trial and error, that is what it is. So, I'm sorry, can you repeat the question? I'm sorry.
Yeah, what type of obstacles would be the hardest to overcome?
Yeah. Okay, so yeah. Not trying to befriend everyone. It's good to keep acquaintances and good friendships and everyone with the people that you do have, but not going out of your way to stick your nose into everything and just allowing things to be as they are. I'd say is the most part. Because in the end, your mental health is what matters to me, in my opinion. I'd say that's the big thing. Another thing would be separating yourself from streaming and allowing yourself at least a period of breathing room, because a lot of people start streaming and they'll go on for hours and hours and hours and they won't give themselves a break, and they'll start up stream the next day and stream 12 hours and whatnot. And you really need to put in a break in every once in a while and allow yourself to breathe, or else you'll get into a situation where it's just like, okay, yeah, I'm burnt out, I'm tired, and then you run risk of just giving up entirely if you don't give yourself enough breathing room.
Hmm. Where do you see yourself as a streamer in a few years?
Honestly, I don't really have any necessary goals. I'd love to improve my setup in terms of giving people a better viewing experience. Right now, I am currently a VTuber. However, I'm not against doing the odd webcam stream and whatnot, but for me, my big issue is my background and whatnot. So I want to create like a comforting, nice little background for everyone to enjoy viewing if I show my face, because it would just be awkward background. And I happen to live with some people who don't necessarily want to be on camera, and so I gotta create a space that they won't have issue walking in, because I have my setup in the living room.
Hmm.
So I don't want them to have to be on camera and deal with that. So that would be the main thing. But honestly, I just love the ability to go to TwitchCon and meet up with people who have helped me in various ways to, give back to the community, meet up with people who want a chance to come hang out and meet each other and everything. I'd say that's my biggest goals. It's not necessarily about growth or anything. It's about providing a good user experience and being able to fill someone's day up with joy and happiness and excitement. That's really important to me.
Hmm. What do you think the formula of success is for streaming?
Um,
I mean, what must one do to be successful?
yeah, I think for that, just chatting, being able to get past the initial stages of having little to no viewers, but at the same time being able to prevent awkward silences. That would be the main thing. Because you could be coming into a chat and there's no viewers, but the streamer is extremely entertaining, and you're sitting there just like, damn, I'm gonna drop them a follow because they seem really cool and really entertaining. I'd say getting past that initial block of, hey, I don't necessarily have anyone in chat right now, but I still want to provide an entertaining experience for those who do happen to maybe stop by and watch. That I think is really important. I think from there, if you're able to master that, success will be right around the corner.
Yeah, that's actually something I struggle with. Especially in my first few streams, I didn't really know what to do. Like an audience of 0 viewers, how do you entertain that? So another lady I interviewed said that it's a skill, like finding stuff to talk about and to be entertaining. What do you think? Is it a skill?
I do agree with that. It does end up becoming a skill. I can sit there and talk about the most random things for hours. I'd say it starts off more as like conditioning yourself, like trying to learn a new language. You start by, learning the basics and being able to have, like, at least break up the silence every once in a while. And then from there, you can add little things. For me, if I'm sitting there in silence for an hour, I can't even stand to myself. I will talk to myself now just to make sure I continue on keeping that skill. But for me, um, I'd say the best way to sort of bring that on to help out is to just talk about your day.
Mm.
Hey, you know what I have later this week? I have a doctor's appointment. I'm not looking forward to it, but you know what? It's something that I gotta do. And little things like that. You can talk about simple things like, it rained today. And you know what? I was super happy because I love the rain. Rainy weather is some of my favorite. And then from that, you can create little conversations and just talk to yourself as if you're talking to another person.
Mm. Mm. Do you feel comfortable streaming? And if yes, how long did it take you to find that place of comfort?
I wasn't comfortable when I first started. It definitely took a little bit of time to find my comfort zone because I was dealing with the not being able to talk well on my own. And so oftentimes I'd have my friends, such as Artemis the Floating Head, there in chat, and a couple other people come over and spend time with me and at least be in the chat with me and play games together. But once I became comfortable, I'd say it took about a month, definitely a month. And from there, it turned into routine. The big thing to getting comfortable with Twitch or YouTube or Kick or wherever you're going to stream, I'd say, is being comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Routine. You get up every morning and you have some coffee. And let's say you have a pet, you got to go feed your pet. It's that little routine that keeps you going. And so once you sort of develop that and maybe get a feel for like what kind of jokes you make and what kind of experience you want to have, and it just becomes routine.
Mm-hmm. What advice would you have for people who want to take up streaming?
Take a break. Don't be scared to put your own mental and physical health first. Definitely, you want to create periods of time where you allow yourself some time off, whether it be a day, 2 days, 3 days. Just try to allow yourself some time to breathe, whether it be let's say you do want to do a longer day stream, you can create a be right back screen and you can just throw that up, or you can put up a YouTube video and just have that playing in the background. Just allow yourself some time to breathe, because once you get into like a little mental block where you're looking at all your games or what you want to do that day, and then you go to load everything up and you're just in there just like, I don't really want to play anything. I don't want to do anything. I regret starting this. And so now you're in that little break where everything's sort of weird. And yeah, so definitely feel free to give yourself a break, and you don't need to make an excuse for it every single time. If you just want the day off, just take the day off.
Mm. And would you advise people to take up streaming, and why or why not?
Streaming has helped me a lot personally in terms of how I interact with people. So if you happen to be someone who may be quote unquote considered weird or anything of the sort when it comes to maybe your social cues, I definitely recommend streaming to help improve how you talk to people. Um, and I would say the same thing for just gaming, online gaming in general. Just don't be scared to use voice chat. Be as weird as you want to be.
Mm-hmm.
But should everyone be able to stream? Yeah, that's fine. Just if you think you will find joy out of it, that's what's most important. Anyone can stream. It's just about making sure that you're comfortable doing it. Because some people may start streaming and then the weight of, oh gosh, I'm in front of a live audience and whatnot, and then anxiety's kicked in and other things. Maybe it may not be best for everyone, but I do believe that if you try your hardest and try your best, anyone is capable of streaming or producing any kind of content.
Mm. What are some of the insecurities you feel as a streamer?
I'd say they're more personal insecurities. Not necessarily anything with regards to like the platform or anything. Um, for me, I have a really bad stutter, and I'm sure you've picked up on it. Sometimes I'll repeat myself, or my words may skip a little bit. I have a stutter. For me, when I was younger, talking was a really hard thing for me. I have some issues of my own that I'm currently working on, but For me, my stutter is like my main insecurity.
Mm.
And like, for example, when I record my YouTube videos versus when I'm live, I will often take 2 hours of voiceovers and condense that to about 13, 14, 10 minutes of audio that's usable
Mm-hmm.
because I slow down and I take my time with my words.
Mm.
However, something like this, I don't have a chance to sit there and be like, okay, I just talk as I do normally. So for me, it's my stutter. And another thing is I have a lot of anxiety with regards to like how I am perceived by people. And so I always try to start my streams when I'm in a good mood
Mm-hmm.
because there's nothing worse than loading up a stream and then all of a sudden something happens or you're in a bad mood and the stream just gets weird and awkward and everyone's just sitting there just like, I don't know about this one.
Mm. If you could give up streaming to live a successful life, would you do it?
I think the fact that I've opened up other avenues, I wouldn't necessarily be against stopping as long as I would still be able to create content for other people.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's nothing that brings me joy, such as, being able to laugh with someone or make someone smile when they're maybe having a bad day and little things such as that. So, yeah, as long as I was still able, I would still be able to do that. Absolutely. But at the same time, if I wasn't, I think I would, I would rather have joy than money.
Mm. Approximately how much time off stream do you invest in thinking about streaming?
Oh, 24/7. I've had dreams about Twitch. I've had nightmares about Twitch. I spend much of my time thinking about what I'm going to do and how I'm going to improve and things I'd like to implement here and there. It's definitely something where if you take it a little bit more seriously, it can become an overall consuming thing. So for me personally, I think about Twitch a lot. However, because I've been branching out lately, it's not just Twitch. I'll think about YouTube video ideas and content ideas in general. But Twitch, yes, definitely think about it pretty much all the time. I've had many nightmares.
Mm. And do you stream every day?
No, I stream. Well, currently my schedule, as I've said, I don't really stick to it, but my schedule is set up for Tuesday to Saturday. So anytime in there, I allow myself to stream typically around 8 p.m. Or 10 p.m. somewhere in that area is when I'll start. And then however long I go, it all really depends on how I'm feeling that day. But I allow myself 2 days off where I can just breathe and spend time with people and just to allow my brain to rest because I'm a person that talks the whole time I'm streaming. And so I need to allow myself a little bit of a break because I do tend to actually lose my voice quite a bit.
Mm. I'm curious, what sort of setup do you have? Like, for example, how many screens do you have? Like a game on one screen and chat on the other?
Yes, I have two screens set up. One of them is just a cheap little Walmart $100 monitor that I have set up, and the other one is an Asus. I'm not sure to make and model, but it's a 165 hertz monitor that I use for my gameplay and just about everything else. But I do have a two screen setup with just one PC that's built in with everything in it. I'll usually have Streamlabs. I use OBS for Kick and Streamlabs for Twitch. So I have everything set up on my cheap monitor, and then I'll have my gameplay and everything else on my good one.
Hmm. And
I'll be happy to send you a picture afterwards. I'm sorry.
That would be nice. What was your first experience like? Was it good or bad?
I would say it was a mixed bag because, like, I was nervous for starting. However, I was having fun with friends. We were playing Raft. And so I had people around me to be there, and I happened to have a couple amazing people in chat keeping me company. I was very fortunate for when I did start. I ended up achieving affiliate in 7 days from when I started.
Oh, wow.
So I was very fortunate to have a very nice experience getting started. So, but at the same time, again, anxiety and just panic about starting. But other than that, I'd say it's a mixed bag. The first time is always, it has its up and downs.
Yeah, for sure. Do you have any stories of overcoming difficulties and succeeding in streaming?
I would have to say my main difficulty when it came to starting stream or streaming in general was when my partner came back and I had to give him back his computer. The computer I had been using was very old. It was about 10 years old at this point. I got it on my 15th birthday. And so when it came to modern games, I was very limited on if I wanted to keep streaming, what I could stream. And so I had to sit there and think back to my content and be like, okay, I'm not going to be able to afford a new computer for a very long time. Do I still want to do this? And I said to myself, you know what? I'm having fun. I'm still going to, I have people relying on me to go live now at this point. So I sucked it up and I loaded up Minecraft, which I could barely run, and Stardew Valley and other little games that I could run on my computer. And I worked on there, but it was a matter of like going from this computer that could run anything to going to a very slow loading, very laggy computer, and working with that. I'd say that was the biggest challenge. And thankfully, through streaming, I was able to upgrade my computer to right now. I currently have a 3070 alongside a really nice Ryzen thing, I forget what it's called, and a lot of storage and a good motherboard and a good case and everything, and like everything runs smooth. I have SSD now, which means I can load my games, and I'm just sitting there crying because I just remember League of Legends just taking 2 minutes to load up and sitting there just like, oh, one of these days I'll be able to start. But yes, I'd say that was my biggest challenge, just being able to navigate the situation where I had to downgrade for a little bit there. And luckily we were able to pull through, and that was super exciting.
Do you have an ideal age group for your audience? If so, what is it and why?
I'd have to say 18 plus. Though I do if anyone who comes in who's like 16 or 17, I mean, like they're it's okay. I don't like it, but it's okay. I'd rather them be that than a 13 or a 12-year-old coming in, because then their personalities, and just I don't want them to be around that humor. But I strive for 18 plus. That's very important to me. It's more or less, if you tell me you're under 18, then we gotta send you off. But it's more like if you don't say anything, I can't know about it. But I strive for 18 plus. That's my humor is very all over the place, and it's definitely not safe for work. And so, kids should not be subject to my very crude humor.
What do you like most about streaming, and what do you like least about streaming?
I dislike having to always be in a good mood. I have yet to build up that confidence to be able to handle mood changes on stream, because if the moment I notice my mood shifting while I'm live, I tend to go about trying to end stream in the most peaceful and nice way possible. And so I find that probably the hardest thing to navigate my feelings and my emotions. The best parts about streaming, my community. I love them to death.
And what is the most important thing to you about maintaining a community?
Being able to maintain a safe space for all. So it doesn't matter what your personality is. It doesn't matter your gender, your orientation. It doesn't matter your political views. I just want an area where everyone can coexist and just be able to have the same amount of fun. That's what's really important to me. So I wouldn't say it's necessarily a safe space, such as like the online terms of it, but I just want it to be a comfortable community where, people can feel welcome to coming out and be themselves and don't feel like they have to be someone who they're not in order to make friends.
Hmm. And if you could ask any question to a successful streamer, what would those questions be? What wisdom could they share with you and others?
How would you how do you keep your personal life and your online life separate? How are you able to maintain who you are, but at the same time be that person who you are online and not let them blend together and be all messy? I'd say that's the one thing I would ask because, as much as I enjoy making friends with new people, at the same time, on Twitch, unfortunately, and I'm not saying that this is like a big widespread thing, but as a female creator, there is that issue where it takes one wrong person and you could be in a world of trouble. So I'd say, like, hey, how do you deal with this? How do you go about handling this? And what can you do to protect yourself? Especially that and to keep your sanity. How are you able to separate it all? How are you able to go on and do this all the time while still being able to remain yourself?
Mm. Have you had any negative experiences with streaming that changed you long term?
Yes, I have. However, when it comes down to the situation, it's more about I am who I am, and sometimes people view me as loud or annoying or random, or they have some sort of other issue when I'm just trying to, be kind where I can and invite people to be as happy and exciting and have good feelings in my channel. But a lot of the time, people often saw my growth because I do acknowledge the fact that compared to many, many other streamers, I did have a quick growth. I've never been about looking at the numbers, but I did notice that some of my friends had changed their thoughts and opinions towards me because of that, even though I haven't changed personally.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, that's probably the biggest thing. Like, I still am who I am. That's never gonna change. I don't like changing at all. I don't like change. So, yeah, I'd say that's the big thing. But you know what? I'm all about not having hard feelings or anything. It's more or less how my anxiety deals with the situation because I know not everyone's gonna like you as a person. That's just realistic. But it's more like, okay, what can I do to at least make you feel comfortable and other things like that.
Mm.
I'd say that's the big thing.
Have you ever had to ban someone from your chat? And what made you feel the way that you need to do it? And go ahead.
Ban someone from my chat? Yes, I've had to ban a couple of people from my chats. The most recent one would have been, I don't even remember their username, but he had just come in for the first time, and first thing he asked me was to ooh. And because I'm a VTuber, that's just something you gotta expect and whatnot. But the way that he was typing was very reminiscent of a teenager or a
Mm-hmm.
child. And so I asked straight up, like, hey, are you under the age of 18? And he's like, yeah. And so I had to ban him straight away because, for one thing, I was feeling really uncomfortable because he was just trying to sexualize me.
Mm.
And so that was the main thing. I don't care if someone's weird in chat or anything, but when it starts becoming awkward, and especially the fact that this person was underage, I'm just sitting there just like, absolutely not, no.
Mm.
That was the most recent ban. I don't deal with any of that in my chat, so.
Has streaming negatively impacted your life in any way?
The biggest thing would be having more of an active social life because when I'm streaming, at the times that I do stream, oftentimes the friends that I do have in real life don't tend to have time available to hang out past like around the time I'm streaming or whatnot. Like the time they would have available would be when I'm streaming, such as like around 8 or 9, a late night hangout and whatnot, because all of them are working
Mm.
and sustaining themselves. And so I wish I had more time to hang out with my friends. I'd say that's the number one negative thing. The second thing would probably be I'm someone who has something called generalized anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
I just have constant anxiety about things, and it's something that I try to help out as much as I can. But having learned how to stream, sometimes I could just be put into a spiral where I'm just anxious about everything. When before, like I had very little things to be anxious about. So the big thing would be like those two things, but that's just personal issues. It's nothing really big elsewhere.
Mm. If you have more chat than you hope could hope to respond to, how would you handle responding to it?
I guess it would go more about being able to continue the vibe as if I'm talking to everyone all at once. Well, that would be the best way I'd go about doing it, because I do enjoy reading every message as they come, but at the same time, I do know that, if I keep growing the way that I'm growing, eventually I'm not going to be able to keep up with chat. So I've implemented things such as like asking generalized questions, and I skim through all of them, but I may respond to like one or two. But at the same time, I'm asking everyone like, "Hey, how's your day going?" Everyone tells me how their days are going. I tell them about my day, and it's just being able to broaden your category so that yes, you can still talk to individual people, but now you just got to ask like more broader questions or do more broader things that involve everyone.
Hmm. Do you think it is important as a streamer to help facilitate healthy social interactions between members of your community?
Yes, and that's what we were going on about early at the beginning. You got to be able to acknowledge the fact that you can't be friends with everyone who comes into your stream if you get past a certain point of growth. It's good to have boundaries because, some people, they want you to stream all the time and they spam you for more streams and whatnot. And then you're just sitting there just like, I can't really do that. And the other part is some people may get too close or too comfortable really quickly. And then you're put into the situation where, because they sit in your chat for long hours, they view you as like their best friend. You're a part of their daily life. And as much as like I wholeheartedly appreciate the fact that people view me as that, and like in many ways it's the same feeling. I just don't know you as a person. I want to get to know you as a person first, and that's important. So I think it's very good to establish boundaries, especially when it comes to protecting your own mental health. That's very important because in the end, we can't be friends with everyone, but being able to maintain good social relationships with everyone, I find that most important. I adore every single person that comes in my chat and is able to give me a moment at a time. But at the same time, I would like people to sit there and realize sometimes that, I'm one person and I have over 1,000 plus people following me. I unfortunately will not be able to be best friends with everyone.
Mm-hmm.
I'd love to be friends with everyone, but best friends, I need to set boundaries, especially for my own mental health, because it can be very emotionally draining.
Hmm. And what steps do you take to not take things personally?
I would have to say being to remove yourself from the situation or being able to like just look at things from a different perspective. Like ask your friends if something were to happen and be like, "Hey, can I get your thoughts and opinions on this?" It's good to have different uh ideas and thoughts towards something that aren't your own so that way you can gain some perspective on things. I find that most important when regards to dealing with all that. So being able to step aside and be like, okay, this happened. I think about it this way. I wonder what others think about it without being like blowing it into proportion. Like talk to a close friend, someone who's not going to go and like spread things around, but someone who you trust who can evaluate the situation and give you some perspective. I think that's most important. I have one viewer who has become one of my closest friends over the past year plus, and she's now my mod, and I consider her my right hand, and she's Slavic Canadian. She helps ground me in many ways. I will come to her with many issues and whatnot, and she will often be like, "Love, I think you're overreacting." And it's just like, okay, thank you.
Mm. How do you feel about revisiting older content? Why does it bother you, or why doesn't it bother you?
I like revisiting my old content because I get to see how much I've grown. Um, I went from having long moments of awkwardness and, I wasn't as confident as I am today now with who I am. And I like going back and seeing this shy person sort of figure out their way on the platform. It's only been a year, but it's crazy how long a year can change someone when it comes to like how they produce content in general. And so that I find that really cool. I don't find my old content cringy whatsoever. Now let's go back 10 years and we may have a different conversation.
Mm-hmm.
But the content that I have right now currently, I find it cute. It's charming. I like seeing how I started and the effort that I put into to get to where I am today. I find it really charming.
Mm. Do you feel that the individual nature of streaming can potentially harm society? Why or why not?
I think when it comes to more of the reactive streamers, such as doing things for views and clicks and to get the audience, things can sort of cross boundaries and whatnot. You'll have streamers who have had issues with having very loud text to speech implementations on their stream that have gotten them in serious trouble.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't blame not them, but like I don't blame the people who reported them for getting them in trouble because I think there should be a fine line between like I don't personally like IRL streaming. Like going out there. There's some that I do enjoy, but at the same time when you're going around and causing a ruckus for other people or you've had issues in the past, maybe that might not be the best thing. But when it comes to like general like video game streaming, I think streaming is great. I think it has many benefits, and in many ways, it helps the awkward gamers all get together and be able to have something in common. That's why we have so many categories on Twitch and Kick and YouTube, where if we feel like watching something specific, we can find that specific thing. It just all depends on everything. But I do think there are some issues that need to be addressed, especially with regards to IRL streaming. Because there are some people that have gotten seriously hurt from things happening. And I believe that, your life shouldn't always be online. I think you should have a good, healthy, not saying like go out and have a life, but I mean like you should be able to have time for yourself offline.
Mm-hmm. And do you do that? Take time for yourself offline?
Absolutely. I need a couple hours every day before I even go live to just exist and get some of my real life stuff done and be able to give myself some time to breathe. And even after stream, I tend to stream more close towards my bedtime. And so I'll allow myself an hour or two after stream to just grab something to eat, grab something to drink, allow my voice to have a little bit of rest. And yeah, typically after stream is just my calm down time, my quiet time. So I find that very important.
I want to ask you about cooperative streaming. Like, what are your experience with it, and do you feel that these experiences have helped your content?
Competitive streaming?
No, cooperative.
Oh, co-op. Such as doing streams with other people?
Well, playing with other people, yeah.
Yes. I find it very beneficial. I think, especially for those who are wanting to start streaming, you should definitely stream with a friend if you happen to have one available to you. If not, you can still play online games and chat with other people who are random and online. But if you definitely have a friend or a duo that you tend to play games with, and maybe they stream too. Let's say they stream too. Um, you're able to put your resources together and create a fun little co-op stream or dual stream where you can blend your personalities together and get a good feeling for things. I think it's very beneficial to everyone online who happen to do that sort of thing. My only issue is do it with people you trust, especially people who you intend to keep around for a long time. I'd say that's most important.
Mm. If you could change the way Twitch places channels on the front page, or how users are searched, how would you do it?
I think it should very much go the route of, for example, you know how Google will tailor their ads and YouTube and all that towards the person watching? I think there should be a good combination of tailored to you content as well as people that we think you might like. That sort of thing. Twitch does have that sort of thing where it's recommended channels for your personal dashboard, but when it comes to like the feature streamers that they tend to have, I think there should be a larger amount available for other streamers to have a chance of, being shown off, especially those who have had, tremendous growth and have an amazing community and being able to show that off. I think there should be more opportunities for those, but unfortunately, because of the fact that I am a VTuber, when it comes to me personally, a lot of people who watch VTubers tend to watch VTuber content, but those who don't watch VTuber content tend not to watch. So it's a weird balancing act. So yeah, I think it's something that needs to be worked on, definitely algorithmically.
Mm. If you were uncancelable, are there things you would say to people that you feel would otherwise land you in trouble?
Not necessarily controversial, right? No, I'd say I'm a very uncontroversial person. I just speak how I am in terms of like who I am. I'm very loud and proud about my feelings and my emotions. I'm not a person who hides when they're upset or hides when they are feeling anxious or anything of the sort. So whatever I say in that moment, 9 times out of 10 I stand by it. But I have never really said anything in terms of like I don't attack people. People are all different. I just want people to be happy, healthy, and safe. That's my main thing. I've expressed like anxieties and whatnot to my friends privately about certain things, but no, for the most part, I'd say we're all good and happy here in terms of dealing with quote unquote uncontroversial things. As I said, my community is what I deem as a safe space. And so when it comes down to like political views and sexuality, orientation, religions and whatnot, it's a melting pot. It's blended. So I tend to just accept everyone how they are. People are people and I love people.
Before you started streaming, like before you took it up, did you read any advice on it? Like the tips and tricks? And did you follow this advice?
Yes, I did actually. I don't remember the creator, but I'm sure if you've personally looked up Twitch related stuff, he has like short brown curly hair and often wears a beanie. I forget his channel name, but he has a bunch of tips and tricks on starting up streaming and whatnot. And I definitely did watch a bunch of those, especially when it came to setting up my OBS and my Streamlabs. Because I went, like, even though I had streamed a long time beforehand, I was starting completely fresh. I hadn't done it in so long. So I definitely, even now, even though I have managed to gain myself a healthy audience, I tend to still look at videos on ways that I can improve, because everyone can improve in something. It's just a matter of putting your foot forward and being able to find that thing you want to improve on.
Hmm. If you could stream for shorter streams or longer without any change to your desired trajectory, which would you choose and why?
It all depends on your definition of short or long. I view short as 3 hours to 4 hours, and then long anything past 8 hours. I think I'd be happy in the middle ground if I could, but unfortunately, due to circumstances, I tend to do shorter streams. However, I'd like to change that eventually and be able to do longer streams. That's very important to me. So, yeah, if I could, I would do longer streams in the long run. But if I could maintain my short streams and still be able to have amazing fun times, you know, that's the goal.
Hmm. How do you feel about ultimately being in the position of authority as a streamer? Does the responsibility bother you?
Who are we talking about?
Well, like you have viewers and followers, they look up to you.
Yes.
Does that put pressure on you?
Oh, yes, definitely. I wouldn't say I'm the perfect role model or anything. I definitely have things that I wish I could improve on. But I like to think that my values are what is most important. And so, no matter where I am or who I'm with, and this extends in my real life too, I'd be the person who I would, want to hang out with. I put that as like my most important feature. Um, so yeah, just be someone who you'd want to hang out with, and usually then you tend to think about what you say and what you do and how you hold yourself, because then you're just like, well, how would I want my friend? What kind of friend would I want?
Hmm.
So as for responsibility, I view that as like my main stepping stone. Treat everyone with kindness. Treat people how you would want to be treated, and love people, because everyone deserves to be loved and treated like decent human beings. That's the end goal of it.
Is profitability related to your channel success at all? Why or why not?
I would say at the beginning it has attributed things towards the channel, such as I started on a good computer, went down to a low end computer, and then had to go through the process of upgrading. My computer that I currently have right now was completely stream funded. I was able to put a little bit of my own money into it, but in the long run of things, it was completely stream funded. So it has attributed quite a bit in terms of being able to provide people with more entertaining content and being able to run the model that I do when it comes to being a VTuber.
Mm-hmm.
But in the long run of things, everything that comes from stream goes towards not only getting things for stream or making it possible for me to do longer streams. It has helped out, but it's not a main thing that happens in the end compared to, let's say, a real minimum wage job here in Canada, for example. It's pennies. It's pennies compared to the dollar.
Mm-hmm.
So I appreciate every single penny that I've gotten. Do not get me wrong whatsoever. I'm thankful to have amazing people that come and are willing to even spend a penny on me. I'm very much appreciative. But ask me again in like 2 years and I'll be able to give you a more solid answer. But it helps out. Do not get me wrong. It helps out tremendously. And through streaming, I've been able to upgrade my gear enough to be able to provide what I think is a very entertaining and, very prosperous stream. However, outside of my computer, everything that I've put in towards it is just little things to help maintain it how it is. It's not much, but I have goals and things I'd like to save up for, and we'll see how that goes. We'll see in the future. I have a couple ideas.
And if your channel was immediately beyond successful, what changes do you think you'd make, if any?
I definitely go to all of my regulars and ask who wants to be a mod, because that would be the most important thing that comes in the head immediately. Just how do I deal with this situation? Because I'm gonna need a lot of help, and I don't want to put this on my main mods or anything. So we'd go about spreading out and getting help where need be. As for everything else, I'd strive towards possibly getting a space specifically for streaming, not necessarily a studio, but maybe expanding the place that I'm currently in, and being able to dedicate a space, because again, my computer setup's currently in the living room. I'd love to get a private space where I can be as loud as I can be able to pack the same energy into things, but be uncontrollable, as we'd say. Yeah, that would be the most important, just providing the space to let things happen. And I definitely look into getting some more things set up for stream. I'd love to get and afford Streamlabs Ultra, the paid version of it, so I can multi-stream and be able to get my content out more. But yeah, I get that would be my main focus. Surprisingly, just okay. How many mods can I get out of this situation from who I've had originally? And yeah, building up my relationship with that new audience. That would be probably my main focus, and being able to provide them with a better viewing experience.
And is there anything you avoid doing as a streamer because it isn't your strength?
Not necessarily with regards to me, but for example, my long-term partner, though I play games with him all the time off stream, he doesn't like to be an active presence on stream. He's very much I guess he'd be a real life lurker. So he's supportive, he's everything and more. So no complaints there. He just doesn't want to be online. But no, nothing else really. No, prevented me from doing much. No, except for myself. That would be the main thing.
Do you think quality or quantity is more important to you as a streamer?
Quality, definitely. When I started off, I would say I did put more effort into quantity. But, now I've sort of accepted the mindset of I'd rather sit in a 1 hour stream that's entertaining and impactful and fun to be in than a 10 or 12 hour stream that's been going on, for hours now. And the streamer's tired and burnt out and the mood is calming down, or someone doing a 24-hour stream. Like, I'll check in periodically, but I'd much rather spend my time with a short stream where everyone's having a blast and it's nothing but good vibes and everything. So definitely quality.
And I think you've already answered this, but what do you think is important for viewers when they are searching for somebody to watch stream? Like,
personality.
Okay.
Yeah, personality. There's a billion Valorant streamers out there, but again, the example would be Farting Glitter. She's not the best. She's farthest from the best, but she uses her webcam and she uses a Snapchat filter that turns her head into a potato often. And she has such a charming personality, and I strive to be a lot like her. I'd much rather be funny than good at video games, which I'm not good at video games. I'm the farthest from good. So when I'm searching for streams to watch, I definitely look at personality. If within the first 5-10 minutes of being there, I can laugh, or I can be like, hell yeah, I feel good here, I'd say that's most important.
What do you think the best way to advertise your channel would be if you could advertise anywhere?
I've gotten, even though the numbers compared to Twitch haven't been all that good, I'd say YouTube would probably be the most beneficial, and I wish I could advertise there more. The second one would be TikTok, because YouTube Shorts and TikTok kind of go hand in hand. But I do like YouTube. I do like being able to create other content and at the end be like, hey, by the way, I stream. You should go check me out on there.
Hmm. If you could choose a place to communicate with your community, where would it be and why?
I do like Discord. I find Discord to be the best application for being able to talk to multiple people all at once. I have my own personal Discord that is moderated and has a lovely community of people in there that it's not super active, but like when we're all having a good time, like we can all join a voice channel and hang out and whatnot. I do like Discord the most. Twitter, I consider a hell site, as
Hmm.
well as a couple other websites. It all depends on what kind of personality of people you're going towards. I think Discord would probably be best.
Hmm. What would be the type of community event you would host if money or time was no object?
I've said this before on stream. I'd love to host a giant sleepover
Hmm.
and order the worst food possible for everyone, and we'll throw on Lord of the Rings and watch the entire trilogy in one go. If I could, like, with all my closest viewers and everything, just everyone get together and do that. But if anything else, I'd love to go about and have a meetup of some kind one day where we can all hang out, have fun together, maybe do something fun and exciting. That would be the secondary fallback plan if I had the money.
Has your community ever made you want to stream less, or stop streaming for a specific game, or want to read chat less?
Yes, not necessarily my community per se, but the community of the game that I was playing there for a long time. I play Dead by Daylight often, and though I enjoy the game itself, the community is very much a mixed bag. You'll have people who are super friendly and kind and want nothing more than to just hang out and they may pop in afterwards, they may not. It is what it is, but we'll have fun games, and then you'll have really toxic players that they'll load up your stream because I'm one of those people that happen to have their stream in their username. And so they'll see I'm live, and the killer, for example, will view me live and sort of go to where I'm hiding and whatnot, and make the game and stream in general just a little bit more on the irritating side as the streamer. So I've done my best to change games as of late to allow myself more breathing room and to control the vibes, because when I deal with sort of bad games multiple in a row, I'm just sitting there just like, I'm sort of done. Just done, not
Hmm.
just of the game but of streaming that day. But as for my community as a whole, thankfully I have an amazing community filled with amazing people, and they have never once done anything to set me off or anything. I love everyone in there. So yeah, it mainly has to do with regards to the games that I play.
If you were having a tough time in a game and you were faced with choosing to end stream, but your community begged you to play on a lower difficulty or change games instead, would you do it?
It all really depends on if I feel like I can do that, because I've gotten better lately with just changing games, because for a while there Dead by Daylight was my main game, and that would be the best example. It's what I mainly streamed, and maybe I'd throw on some words on stream with some of the others, or do stream related games on there. Um, but lately I've been trying to do better with just changing games or doing something else to continue on the stream and keep it going as long as possible, and to hopefully shift the vibe and everything. It's definitely a lot more important to do that rather than to end streams, I feel. But sometimes you just sit there and you're just like, I'm done with this situation. I'm done with streaming. It all depends on like what has happened, and that, like, if it was something truly uncomfortable and your mood is ruined, I'd say straight on just end stream. Come back when you're feeling 100% or at least 70%, and start over again.
If you could do anything with whatever authority you gained from streaming, what would it be?
I'd love to do maybe a little contest, being able to spectate certain games and be able to give my commentary while inviting other people to come and play and be able to oversee that sort of thing. I find commentary with regards to, like, for example, on CSGO, you'll have big events and you'll have people talking over the gameplay. I find that very enjoyable. I'd love to do something like that. Maybe be able to commentate over a Dead by Daylight game or something else. I feel like that'd be very enjoyable. I'd love to do little events such as that.
And provided the opportunity, what are some of the things you would want to inform your audience of to make the world a better place?
Just focus on yourself, allow yourself some breathing time, allow yourself to be happy. And if you aren't happy, find things that will bring you joy. Because I think everyone should be able to experience joy in whatever capacity they're able to get. Mental health and physical health is very important to me, and I think people should take time and work on themselves and allow themselves, a happy life. It doesn't matter who you're with or who you grow up with or who you surround yourself with. I know it seems kind of morbid, but in the end, we're all going to die alone. So sit there and think to yourself, okay, what would I like to do in order to say that I've lived a fulfilling, happy life? Do what you can to find your happiness, no matter what that may be. I'd say that's what's most important.
What subjects as a streamer do you feel are difficult or impossible for you to consider delving into?
I like a lot of niche topics personally. I'm hyper obsessed with certain things, which I know a lot of people may not be into. I like watching a lot of YouTube documentaries and just documentaries in general. And so I have very specific niches that I know not everyone would be super interested in, but I wish I could dive into them more and just have like a dedicated, for example, deep dive on Chris Chan or Amberlyn Reed or other maybe controversial content creators or just situations and just talk about them. I find, I find both entertainment and learning enjoyable. So, my streams are very much super fun, super loud, super random, and these are more serious topics. I'd love to branch into them more, but I don't feel like it'd fit well with my community on Twitch per se, but it might be something I might be able to do on YouTube or another platform. So I wouldn't say no necessarily right now, but we'll see in the future. I'd definitely like to see what I can do.
Have you ever faced any pressure from your fellow streamers?
Yes, I have. I see, and it's not necessarily anything that anyone's put on to me, but I see other streamers being able to be super interactive and chatty with their audience. And though I am when I stream, and when I'm outside of stream, sometimes I don't even answer my own DMs. I'll have days where I just don't talk to anyone. And so it's more or less been like a personal push that I've seen other streamers do to interact more with my viewers and my audience. And just do more things that are audience related, such as maybe host more open games where anyone can come in and join. It's something that I'm working on. Right now, I'm most comfortable with myself, and then I have a handful of friends who I enjoy the world with and I play with all the time. But when it comes to playing with people I may not necessarily be super close with, or talking outside of stream, it's something I definitely want to work on and be able to grow my community, not just when I'm live, but when I am in, like, yeah, essentially what I'm saying.
if you suddenly had $1 million, how would that change your life? And would you still do streaming?
Unfortunately, where I am right now, yes, it would be a substantial amount of money to get at one time, but right, I think the first thing I'd do is just buy a house straight out, because where I am, most housing within a certain area starts at 800,000 to 600,000,
Mm-hmm.
and that would probably be the first thing I do. I do believe I'd be able to live comfortably for quite a little bit and be able to implement so much things into my stream. It's just where I live in personally in Canada. Unfortunately, you can think of $1 million as a whole bunch of money, and as someone who's lived off the dollar store their whole life, yeah, I can make it stretch all the way. Like, I could do so many amazing things with it, but uh, they would have to be things I would implement for the long term and not just something I could do short term. So I'd probably invest in better computers, again, better backgrounds, maybe be able to buy a space of my own to be able to host things and do things. And I'll have my streaming computer and my regular PC, and maybe I'd get a MacBook or something to help me edit videos and just things that would be like life improvements for stream. I would also love to pay an editor or two to maybe help me create some of my content into other things. And so that would probably be where I put most of it. And then savings, because we all need a little bit of extra cash somewhere. Might as well put it in savings. I wish I would be able to do more, but, life is how it is. 2023 is a weird year.
And if you were in charge of streaming platforms like Twitch and YouTube and Kick, what would you change?
I would allow a lot more community input. I would actually try my best to listen to what streamers and viewers actually want, and not just listen to one or two and be like, oh yeah, that's a good idea, I'll implement that, but be able to listen to everyone as a whole and put up polls and whatnot that might be able to come into the situation and sort of see what people want, what we could remove, other things like that, maybe ease of life features and whatnot. I think that's what's most important. And I do think Cake is doing it a lot better than what Twitch is doing right now. And I stream on Twitch, so that says a lot. I think they're actually listening to what their creators want, and I find that wonderful to hear. I just hope that through this new rivalry between the two platforms, that good things will come out of it. Because in the end, we're providing hours and hours of free content, often to people. It would just be nice for those who happen to rely on Twitch as an income, per se, to be able to, make their lives a little bit easier to stream on the platform and make it seem worth it, I think.
And you say you stream on Twitch. Why did you choose that platform?
YouTube, when I first started, YouTube has been growing with live streaming for a while there, and it still is, but for me, it was a blend between I could either do YouTube or Twitch at the time, or I could do Facebook live streaming, and no one uses Facebook. YouTube is still mostly for just regular video watching. There are people that strictly watch YouTube lives, but comparative to Twitch, which is pretty much only watching live streaming, I decided Twitch would probably be best for me. I started completely from scratch, and so I've been very grateful with the growth that I've had. So I'm happy that I did choose Twitch, and I believe there is plenty of opportunities out there for me to grow and continue growing. But you know what? If I had started out this year, within the last couple months, I probably would have used Kick, honestly. Because on Twitch, if we're talking growth standards, I'm fighting against millions of other people who are live.
Mm-hmm.
Well, on Kick right now, they have a good-sized community now, they're still in need of finding creators to fill the platform up with, because, again, they're fighting against Twitch. But I believe there's more opportunities with Twitch, but I believe there's more growth potential with Kick now.
Let me ask you this. If my goal as an interviewer is to inform aspiring new streamers about what's it like being a streamer, what should they do to become more successful as a streamer, then what questions should I ask people that I interview? What questions didn't I ask you that I should have?
I think if you were to ask anyone who's interested in becoming a streamer, ask them what they want out of the situation. Are you looking for money? Are you looking for friendship? Are you looking for opportunities? Like these little questions, and then just tailor your answer towards them. If you're doing Twitch for money and you're starting out from nothing, it's not. I can tell you right now, 9 times out of 10, it's not going to happen. Twitch is, especially for, I would be considered like a medium-sized small streamer. I'm still small, but compared to a lot of other small streamers, I'm larger. But I'm not out of that, so I'd say I'm right dab in the middle. So, money is not a big part of why I stream for. For me, it's always been about community, and that's what it started with. But if you're doing streaming of any kind just for money, I think if you're starting from scratch, you should probably sit there and look at your sort of goals and create a checklist of what you want and find other things. Like if you completely turn everything into just a money grab, it can sort of taint your relationship with your viewers and whatnot. And so I think it's good to add some things onto that. I'd say just ask them, like what do you want to start streaming for? And because streaming's not for everyone. If people are like a little unsure, you can always say like, hey, you can always start, and if you end up not liking it, at least you can say you tried. I think that's very important when it comes to asking people like what they want to do as a budding streamer. But as for interviewing other streamers, for example, I'd say the list of questions you have been very thought provoking, and so I have no complaints there as for what's been asked of me as a streamer. No, everyone's different, and yeah, I guess it all ends up being tailored. Tailor your questions, tailor your answers, and sort of ask, streamers and get an idea and build up a portfolio and look back on it and be like, okay, I asked these and they sort of responded with this. Maybe I can dive deeper into this.
Mm-hmm. Is there anything in your life that you feel fortunate to have, like you feel lucky that you do have?
I I'm sort of in the position in life where I'm thankful to have everything that I do have. I have a cabinet full of food. I have a roof over my head. I have good internet, which, hell yeah. I have an amazing partner. I have amazing friends, and I have 2 very fat cats that, are my whole life and soul. And so I'm very thankful for everything that I do have. But, through streaming, for example, I've been able to afford my cat's vet care in a time that I wasn't able to. So I'm all about the little things. I'm thankful for the little things. And you'll see in a couple years, I'm sure my tune will change in the sense of I'll have even bigger things to be grateful for, but I'm happy with what I have now. I'm so happy with what I have now. And if it were to stay like this, you know what? I could live a happy and fulfilling life.
Mm. Do you have any closing thoughts?
I'd say for the most part, just do whatever is going to make you happy. If you're not happy, then why are you doing it? Joy I think is very important for everyone to have, even if it's in little amounts. And if you are interested in starting streaming, just remember to allow yourself to take a break, breathe, allow yourself some time off. Go into it with all the energy in the world. Just don't push yourself too hard, because nothing is worse than working your butt off to get to a point and feeling so successful and then hitting a wall and you don't want to do it anymore due to something or another. So just focus on your mental health and, eventually you'll find your stride and your passion and it will keep you going. And yeah, that's the big thing for me.
All right. Thank you. This has been great.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate this opportunity. It was lots of fun.
For me too.